Hello and welcome to the round 5 team lineups video. Hey, it is George from Fantasy Tech TV, and yeah, we'll go through a few things, go through the Brisbane and Collingwood game that just happened, and a few rookies that have been dropped. Not sure a whole lot have been named, so we'll go through that, and yeah, it should be good. So Brisbane versus Collingwood, so yeah, a few changes here. I don't see much need to go over this one since it's already happened, but Reef is probably the main one. I'm not sure Reef I thought he was good, played I think almost exclusively forward this game. Just depends on when, or maybe he's replacing Henry in that role. I'm not sure. Elliott's out for a while. I can't remember how long Ginnivan's out for, and my check will come back in next week, you would think. So does he go out for Kruger? Thought Kruger was okay, mostly early, but we'll see. So yeah, but Reef is probably gone now. He's gone up in price. So on the Brisbane side of things, so talking points, Jared Berry, been okay, ticking along, so you'd be very happy if you held him. Shoulder is a problem. I'm not sure what the go is with him. Are they just going to keep playing him injured, and is he going to keep being sore? Or, you know, he was cradling his shoulder again in the final few minutes of the game, went off for the rest of the game except for the last minute, and came back on. So, yeah, I think you just keep holding if he keeps playing, but it is a little scary owning him because of that shoulder. So I think they were saying that it's shoulder capsule irritation, the joint is stable, so maybe it's just sore, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's an odd one, but I think I'd be jumping off in 2 weeks or so if he keeps playing. Because yeah, I'm not sure it's a smart thing long term. We'll leave it to the doctors, but yeah, clearly he's not right. But yeah, still scoring acceptable. Fort did a fair bit of ruck work. McInerney was alright. So Neil, do you take the 115, 117, something like that? I will be going with Jack Macrae. Jack Macrae last year went, I think, 108 and 130, somewhere around there on his 2 games against North. So yeah, I'll take Jack Macrae next week. Tomorrow on Good Friday. I don't mind Took as an option. Steele's also a good option. But I will go with Macrae. I think the pack is going Macrae. Go with the pack. If we all suffer, we suffer together, but I think it's Macrae will be fine. On the bench, Lohman played tonight. He was okay, mostly forward. Did some nice things, had a few blunders, but yeah, first game, did okay. Couldn't ask for much more from a first gamer. Not one I'm looking to bring in at the moment, but we'll assess him in, not next week, but the week after. And then on Collingwood side, Dacos was he was okay. A few errors from him, uncharacteristic errors tonight, but yeah, still solid. Pendle's tagged Neil, mostly in the first quarter. Did an okay job. Second quarter, Neil got off the chain. Dugoy was okay. I can't remember if he was more mid or forward. He did kick 4 goals, but yeah, he looked good tonight. Kind of floated in and out the game, but was impactful when he was involved, so I think he's probably overtaken Butters on my rankings for now, but we'll see. Brodie Grundy, this is concerning. I will be holding Grundy. Just have to remember his average before tonight was almost 110. It's now down to 98. So I think the problem is people might want to trade him because, I don't know, they think Witts is a keeper, so you bank money, go down to Witts. Is Grundy even a top 2 ruck at the moment? Or, you know, you could run English at R2 with Gawn eventually, or Witts or whoever you've got, depending on how Witts goes long term, and then you just run 6 forwards like a Taranto and whatnot. So, you know, Taranto probably outscores Grundy, so, well, at this rate anyway, so I just think you put it down. He had a bad game. His tap work was off, his kicking was off. It was just a really bad game. You know, it's not easy playing up in Brisbane either, so again, maybe people question motivation and stuff like that. I still think should be top 3 or 4 rucks still, so I think I'll hold, but, you know, it's not great. Yeah, gonna drop 50k this week. Pat Lip, I think I'm the only one who owns him anyway, but yeah, he was better. Fourth quarter, he was good, really good. Before that, his time on ground in the first half was like 57%, and I'm just like, what is going on? But I don't know. I can't explain that. That's odd, a bit frustrating, but is what it is. But yeah, scored 95, so it's whatever. And Crisp was really good, so I think we stopped the Crisp slander. If you can get rid of those clangers, he could easily go 110. But yeah, just gave away silly 50 as well. So, but yeah, played really well. Really, really well. And yeah, I already spoke about Reef McInnes. So now we'll get through this a bit quicker now. So North versus the Dogs in Eddie Ford. Doesn't say new. So maybe he's Let's have a look at this Ford. Oh, he's 206k. No thanks. We'll look at Arbona out. Zerha in for the Dogs. Garcia, Cordy not relevant. Out Venmere, Butler, and Wallace. So looking at North, Aaron Hall was named. So the few rumours about Aaron Hall on our favourite source, Big Footy, and also Twitter, people were saying that he went in for scans for his hamstring, but he's playing. So not exactly sure what the truth is to that, but he's playing, so just assume he's fine. So McDonald, fortunately for McDonald, Zeeble played a blinder up forward last week, so they decided, well, let's just keep Zeeble there. All of a sudden, keep your eye on Luke McDonald. I think he's gone up in price, so he had a really, really poor game the other day. I think he scored like sub 30, so but that was with Zeeble back, so maybe he is freed up to play roaming half back. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. Also probably good for Aaron Hall, because Zeeble was taking kick-ins. Now it'll just be McDonald, Hall, and probably Core as well. Horne-Francis forward. So Horne-Francis probably get a fair bit of mid-time. He's been great. Happy to keep fielding him. Cherry should be able to get some hit-outs to advantage on English. So fingers crossed that happens and he scores well for us, if you have him. Perez is a 150k rookie down back, so keep an eye on him. Mature age, 2 or 3 years in the system, but had 2 ACLs. So didn't run out the game very well, but definitely give him another chance, and we'll look at him next week potentially. And emergency CCJ, that's fine. Dogs down back. McRae named in the middle, not the ruck, not the wing, which is kind of nice. A Treloar half forward. English number 1 ruck. Steph Martin still emergency. Baz on ball. Baz is very close to forward status. Really close. He needs, I don't know, probably like 40% forward time this week. So keep an eye on Baz. And yeah, move on. West Coast versus the Swans. So in Bailey J. Williams, Elliot Yeo, Harry Edwards, Cripps, Shuey, Tim Kelly out. Hoff, West, Waterman. Oh, Waterman's out. Okay. McGovern out. Luke Edwards injured. Nick Nat out. He's out for a long time. Xavier O'Neill omitted. In Logan out. JPK managed. Out. Franklin injured. What was it? Hurt his thumb or finger or something like that. Okay. Bailey J. Williams is a 190k ruck. He's the number 1 ruck now. And Nick Nat is out for, sounds like 2 to 3 months. I don't know if he's an option or not. I'm not bringing him in because I prefer O'Driscoll, just because right now I have Gibcus and Hinge in down back, and neither of them are playing. So I feel like don't really want to field SDK, and getting O'Driscoll will let me get what's his name, Dacos down back. Whereas it just makes life a lot easier going forward. So Bailey Williams is an interesting one. So I haven't really seen him solo ruck before. I'm not too sure on this one. I might have to look into that, but I can't really get him. I don't have an avenue to him because I have no forwards to trade out, so I don't really want to trade any mids out. So yeah, interesting one. Waterman is dropped, which means that could mean that Dixon is now ahead of him. So because they've played more tolls before, so we look at this setup, just Darling, Kennedy, Williams, and Dixon as the tolls. They have played, I guess Liam Ryan kind of plays tallish. They have played, the extra tall here. So maybe when Allen comes back, Dixon keeps playing over Waterman. So that's quite encouraging for Dixon. So I think if you want to bring in Dixon, because of this Waterman being dropped, I think that's fine. I don't mind that. And looking at the team lineups, down back, whatever. Witherden's been scoring well. I don't trust Witherden though. Naish has been good if you picked him up. Kind of a miss for most people. Riolu's actually been quite good. Made a bit of money. And it's whatever the rest. I wonder who's sub here. Maybe Hoff or O'Neill. I don't know. Looking at the Swans. So Campbell down back. Blakey. McInerney moved into the mid. So maybe that helps Lloyd a little bit. So Jake Lloyd is the target I want as my 5th defender at the moment because he's dropping money. And I see Doherty, I see Sinclair. Sinclair's durability is fine. He just had a minor hamstring last year, but I worry about Doherty long term. For someone who is overtraded like myself, I'd love to just get Jake Lloyd for 500k, which is what he's projected in 2 weeks. Get him in. Hopefully he averages like 100. I'll be happy with that. And then apart from Aaron Hall, I have durable defense, 4 very durable defenders who never miss games, basically. So Lloyd is one that I'm really looking closely at and see how he goes with kick-ins the next few weeks. He should get most of them, but Blakey's taking some, Campbell's taking some, I know McInerney can take some, so something to keep an eye on. Last week he had a bad score, only had the 2 kick-ins because North had 3 behinds for the whole game. McInerney went to the middle in the last quarter and had 14 disposals. It's an interesting one. I think it's slightly too high on the speculative side. He did play North at home, so I might let that one go. But an interesting one for fantasy. It might be okay for Supercoach, but not for me. I'm running the 3 tolls, Reed, McDonald, McLean. That's good for Isaac. Means Isaac will get a little bit of mid-time, which is all we really want. He can score anywhere. Laddams in the ruck. Does that help Dixon? Probably. Not the best ruck, Laddams. And then, whatever, an interchange. Now, who's going to be sub here? I doubt they use Amadi. They're managing Kennedy. Roberts has been really good in the VFL. However, I feel like they would have named Matt Roberts, saying he's going to debut, even if it's a sub. So I don't think it's Roberts. It looks like Dylan Stevens will be sub, and that's going to kill his cash gen depending on when he comes on or if he comes on at all. So his break even is still low, so it's fine to hold Stevens if he's sub. I ended up trading for Bruce. I think it's fine to hold Stevens. He could buy it trading Stevens, but at the same time he's sub risk going forward. It might be very slow cash gen depending on circumstances. Now, Saints versus Gold Coast. Hallelujah. Jack Hayes is in, Jack Higgins is in, Webster out, Ryder suspended, Burns omitted, in Markov for Suns, out, Lucas injured with a knee, Rory Atkins omitted. So Jack Hayes is in for Ryder, which is great. I thought, Campbell was BOG in the VFL, so Campbell is emergency. So do you field Hayes or Dixon if you need to field one or the other? Well, I don't know what the ruck split will be with Hayes and Ryder. I feel like Hayes is going to make the most of this opportunity to make him undroppable. I think I like St Kilda's odds of doing really well against West Coast a bit better. Sorry, St Kilda's odds of beating Gold Coast a bit more than West Coast beating Sydney. So I think St Kilda have the easier matchup here. In the ruck, Jack Hayes has no chance against Witts. Witts is like 210 centimeters. Hayes is like 193 or something like that. So yeah, it's you can't really win hitouts on that with that height discrepancy. So maybe they play Hayes forward. He has a big game. They're playing King, Membry. Oh, okay, so that's okay. Rowan and Hayes. Oh, Wood as well, but Wood's been playing up the ground. I think I'll field Hayes, but with not a lot of confidence. I think Dixon will do well though. I think they'll both be alright this week. Hayes scored alright without Ryder in round 1 and 2. So you're looking through the teams. Wangan and Miller are still playing, that's good. Sinclair named the middle. Okay, not much more. Windhangers. He's played 1, so get another look at him this week, I think. Now Gold Coast, Willpower, Collins, Lemons. I don't know why I'm reading that out. So Miller in the mids, Rao on bowl. See if he tags or does that stupid checking roll in the midfield. And Roses is a rookie. I think he's on the bubble. No, he's not on the bubble yet. He's played one. So one we could look at next week, I think. Let me check. Played one game. Okay. So Roses we can look at next week. He's been really good in the VFL. Made some progress in this preseason. So yeah, he could be a nice rookie. So now, Crows versus Richmond. Sam Berry, McAdam in, Schoenberg out, Roy dropped, a little disappointing, and Hinge omitted. Like, what the hell does that mean? Vlosten in, Gibcus out, managed. Maybe Gibcus comes back for Miller next week, most likely. And McIntosh out, health and safety. So, Berry's 250k in the forward line. Apparently he's had a big preseason and he's improved and he's been racking it up in this NFL. He did struggle to rack it up last year. But yeah, he's made some progress. I honestly think he'll stay in the team, but unfortunately he's 250k in the forward line, so bit annoying. They have Mitch Hinge listed as omitted here, which has confused me because we know, he said, I think they said they expected him to be available this week, but because of the injury, like, is he not playing because he might be a tad underdone, or is he, like, dropped? Because even though it says omitted, I'm not 100% sure. Because yeah, people have been listed omitted in the past when they're injured, so it's a little confusing. I will still hold Hinge. So yeah. Down back, Dawson down back. I think he'll play both roles. Keys on ball. Keys has been sick this year. I like him as a pod. Rochelle, that's good. Matt Crouch on the bench. Been disappointing this year, but, long preseason for him. Tough preseason for him. Gollan's still in the team. I think Thilthorpe probably takes Gollan's spot eventually. Gollan's good. I hope they pump games into him, but he's not winning a whole lot of ball. Getting a few really good looks at few really good marks up forward. So I hope he stays in, but I think Thilthorpe has to play. Walker has to play. Himmelberg's been good. I don't know if he's a long-term solution though. So Gollan's job security is just not good enough. He's already gone up in price. So, yep. And then who's sub here? If Hinge is fine, it could be him. Interesting. If he's sub, do you trade him? Probably not, because I think he'll not be sub next week. I'm not sure. Interesting. And looking at Richmond side, so interesting, Dan Rioli's been really good, and his kick-ins were 4 last week, and they were always 1 or 2 the week before, in the prior 3 rounds. So, interesting one, Dan Rioli. Averaging 97, had a bad first week, but Shaw also had a bad week. He had 100 Supercoach, but had 60 Dream Team of fantasy. So maybe Rioli averages mid-90s for the year. If you're struggling, I know it's early, but if you've used more trades than me, which would be pretty bad, and you want to look for a value pick, or you're struggling, if you feel like you're in a bad spot, you could make the Rioli play for 410k. Not totally against it. Kick-ins were up this week, but I don't know if that's maintained over the next few weeks or the rest of the season. And Thompson down ball, so if you grabbed him, probably too late, but yeah, he's been good. Very good, actually. And yeah, move on. Melbourne in Petty, out Thompson, out Bedford, in Finn Callahan, in Matt Flynn, in Nick Haynes, out Bruce, Riccardi, Peatling, and O'Halloran. So, Melbourne side of things, Melbourne's, apart from the big 3, Petrarca, Oliver, Gawn, there's not a whole lot of relevance here, and Bowie. So yeah, Bowie, do you trade or hold? I think you can hold if you need to. If you can get him to a premium, I think that's fine. I think it was a little stiff last week. It was hard for him to score when Port kept turning the ball over in the middle of the ground, so it was hard for defenders to score on Melbourne's side. And then the Giants, Whitfield halfback, that's fine. Toronto half forward, Cogs half forward. So hopefully Cogs gets a bit more CBAs this week. Maybe they tag, where's Ash named? Ash in the middle on a wing. Maybe he goes to Petrarca. Flynn in for Bruce. So you would think Bruce comes back next week. Maybe they like punish him in the VFL or something for a week because he did that stupid suspension, but that elbow to Dave Mundy, but we'll see. Kelly on bowl, not sure I believe that, but I think they should be doing it. And then Green's been really good this year. Freo did put a bit of time into him at stoppage last week, so I expect a good one from Green this week. And then last on the bench is Finn Callaghan. So Finn Callaghan's numbers were solid in NAB League. Nothing like Dacos or anything like that. I think he needs to develop more of a contested game from what I've read, but he's been good in the VFL so far. So GWS rookies, he's like 200k. It's very hard to trust. I'll be very surprised if we bring him in, but we'll give him a chance. Carlton versus Port in, okay, so these are extended as well. In Durden, Nunes, Parks, Pitney, Cottrell, Dow, out, Boyd, Plowman, Cripps. Sounds like he's out for a week with the hamstring. In Aaliyah, Phillison, Gray, Hayes, Skinner, out, Jones, Ollie Wines. So fingers crossed Ollie comes good. Sam Hayes. So Hayes is on the extended bench, so I have no idea if he plays together with Lysette. That will be interesting. So looking at Carlton, Sard and Doherty are just farming points at the moment. Durden named on a wing, he'll probably play forward. So yeah, he's definitely best 22. Hewitt follower, he's a gun. And looking at the extended bench, who plays here? Williams does. Tom De Koning, I think, does. I think they like playing both. Honestly, I don't have the best read on this, to be honest. So maybe Setterfield and Dowen for Cripps, maybe. And then Port side, whatever in the defense. Houston's been going okay, but I don't trust him. And Butters on bowl, so that's good. So hopefully he gets a bit more mid-time than last week. Probably Gray plays. Mead would play, I think. I think Dumont plays. And then, I don't know. I don't think they need Skinner because they got the two back there. Maybe Mays. I don't know. And then Essendon versus Freo. In Hobbs, Baldwin, Nick Cox, Cutler, out Stelling, has a calf issue again. In for Freo, Pierce, Sarong, Tucker, and Wilson. And Schultz is out, health and safety protocols. So looking at Essendon's defence, Ridley, centre back, whatever, I think is probably looking like a low 90s average this year. So I think you can move him on if you want, if you feel comfortable in a better option. But I think like Lloyd and Stewart are both coming down as well. And Ridley's break-even's like, I think it's higher than Lloyd and Stewart's, lower than Lloyd and Stewart's. So I think you can just hold and maybe make a sideways when they come down if you feel it's necessary. Although it will be upgrade season, so you might have to move him on now if you want to move him on. I think it might be the last week to move him on because, yeah, you'll be trying to upgrade, not sideways, actually. I don't see him as being top 6, but I don't think he'll be too far off, so I think you can hold if you want. I would actually move him on, but that's just me. Martin, half forward. Played really well last week, mostly wing. Shield, Parrish, Draper. So who is on the bench here? I think Caldwell plays. Probably Cutler plays. I think Devon plays, and they would have announced Hobbs. I don't know. Maybe Tex Manganine plays. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. And then Freo's side, down back is whatever. Midfield, Brayshaw in the mids. Brayshaw should, maybe he attracts a Andy McGrath tag. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I'd almost expect it. But yeah, Brayshaw's been unbelievable this year. I think he's definitely top 8. Brody on ball, so that's nice if you have him. I did trade him in this week, so sorry about that. And then interchange. Okay, so O'Driscoll's on the interchange, Erasmus on the interchange. So who plays here? Logue, not sure. Sarong, yes. Chapman, yes. And Swikowski, you would think Swikowski plays. He's been good this year, I think. So that leaves one of Wilson, O'Driscoll, Erasmus, Tucker, and Logue. Well, they cannot possibly drop O'Driscoll after last week. So I think O'Driscoll plays this week. Erasmus probably goes out. I don't know if Tucker's best 22. If they expect him to be best 22, coming off injury, I think. Something like that. So I still feel okay bringing O'Driscoll in. I think you can hide. I'll be able to hide him on the mid bench if something goes wrong. But I think if he's dropped next week, it won't be the last time we see him. But you would think they give him a few games after how good he was last week. So yeah, it would be. You can't drop a kid after playing like that. There's no way. So hopefully he's bought himself, I don't know, 3 weeks or something. And now the Easter Monday game, Hawthorn versus Geelong in Wingard, Cozzy, Shields, Phillips out day. Geelong in Redigalia, Selwood, Higgins, Stewart is back, and out Narkle injured. Looking at Hawthorn down back, Sicily's sent half back, but he kind of plays on the third most of the time. Sometimes they switch him to key, the main key forward, but he'll play on the rotating ruck, or sometimes he'll play a bit smaller. So I think Sicily's a great pick this year. Ward is named on a wing, so I guess people are trying to look for avenues to say O'Driscoll, and people might be looking at Josh Ward. Ward has shown he is capable, and they keep giving him a chance to, they keep giving him opportunity, so they're going to persist with him. I think there's still a good chance he comes good. You can hold if you want. I have decided to trade because I feel like he's my worst rookie. But yeah, I have no issue holding at all. I think he's shown he's capable. It just hasn't happened. But he's been quite poor the past 2 weeks. So he had a good second quarter in round 3. Round 4 is ordinary. So apart from that second quarter, he's been quite poor. So yeah, young kid though, trying to make his way in the AFL. So see how he goes. CBAs were down last week. I think I'm okay moving him on, but I think it's okay if you want to hold. But yeah, shown capable, so hopefully he does come good if you're holding. Connor McDonald named on ball. That's interesting. I wonder if he gets much CBAs. I like Connor McDonald better than Ward. Ward has shown a better ceiling, but McDonald's been given the worst possible role, and he's looked a bit more composed at the level. Mitchell CBAs went up last week. One to watch. I don't feel comfortable bringing in Tom Mitchell. I just think that Sam Mitchell doesn't want him... with 75-80% CBAs, only giving him, he might only get like 50 to 60 or 40 to 65 for the rest of the year. So maybe a bit more, but we'll see. So I just don't trust that he gets a high CBA role for the rest of the year. And then on the bench, who is sub here? Who is playing? It's probably Wingard, probably Scrimshaw. Warple could be dropped after last game. Maybe they play Shields over Warple. Not sure. Looking at the Cats side, Stewart's back. So yeah, definitely a good upgrade target if you don't have him. Yeah, Stewart. I think I'd like to get Stewart in eventually. I think Stewart and Lloyd are probably the two I want. I like Dawson too. I definitely would love Doherty, but I'm not sure I have enough trades to take a Doherty risk. Yeah, I think there's really nothing here. Duncan, I don't care about Duncan as a pick this year. I don't trust his calves. And then on the bench, who is sub here? Who is playing? So Selwood will play. I think Koladajny plays. I think Tui plays. And then one more. Maybe Parfit. Not sure. So anyway, those are the teams. Not a whole lot of rookies coming up. I think Greg Clark, hopefully Hollands at some point. But we'll see. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.